The old man had 99 tumors growing in his brain. The doctor said he only had 10 days left to live, but to see his beloved granddaughter a few more times. He used the 9 deadliest venomous insects as ingredients to create a poison called bone-melting powder. Once consumed, it causes excruciating pain as if the body were being corroded. However, if one endures the pain, the poison suppresses the tumors and prolongs life. To reunite with his family once more, the old man swallowed the poison without hesitation. As the poison took effect, waves of piercing pain surged through his body. It felt as if countless blades were slicing through his flesh. This agony lasted an entire day and night. In the end, the old man endured it. Without even pausing to celebrate, he rushed back home. At that moment, all he wanted was to hold his adorable granddaughter again. But as he approached the gates of his estate, a thick scent of blood wafted in on the wind. The old man immediately realized something terrible had happened at home. He pushed through the crowd and stepped through the gate. What he saw was a scene he would never forget. The once lively Liu family village had turned into a living hell. Seeing the familiar faces lying lifeless on the ground, the old man's emotional defenses completely collapsed. He couldn't understand why such a tragedy had befallen him. He had lived a life of justice, never making enemies. Even the townsfolk held him in the highest regard. The old man lost all will to live. He picked up a short blade ready to end his life. But just as the villagers rushed forward to stop him, the cry of a baby suddenly pierced the air. The old man quickly dropped the blade and followed the sound. He discovered his granddaughter hidden inside a wine jar. "You're alive," the old man shouted with a joyful smile. But he quickly suppressed his sorrowful emotions. He understood that if someone wanted to destroy his family, they would surely still be searching for him. He immediately retrieved the ancestral fire dragon spear from the house. Then he turned to the crowd outside and shouted loudly, "I have a favor to ask of all of you. Please help me bury my family. This is a duty I should fulfill myself. But I must leave now. I promise you all, before I bring every last one of those who destroyed my family to justice. I, Liu Zhenshin, will not die." After saying his final words, the old man endured his sorrow and left the town with his granddaughter. Though they faced several assassination attempts along the way, they fortunately escaped unharmed each time. However, whenever he tried to interrogate the assassins for information, they would bite down on poison capsules and take their own lives. The only clue he managed to obtain was the dragon-shaped tattoos on their bodies. Looking at his granddaughter's radiant smile, the old man silently made a vow. Grandpa will always protect you. But he also understood that while the bone-melting powder had extended his life, the illness could return at any moment. He needed to live at least long enough to ensure Shui's safety. There was only one solution left: to completely transform his body. This meant regenerating his flesh and bones into a body ideal for martial arts. But to achieve such a state, he needed to surpass the power of 180 years of inner energy. Yet despite a lifetime of cultivation, he had only reached 150 years worth. With his aging body, it might take 5 or more years of training to break through. Still, the old man's resolve did not waver. Yesterday he had no attachment to life. Now he had only one thought: to live and protect his granddaughter until she grew up. Packing his belongings, the old man set out once again with his granddaughter, traveling day and night. That night, they arrived at a small town. The old man planned to ask a passing woman for some food. But when the woman saw the young child in his arms, her maternal instincts overwhelmed her. She offered to nurse the child herself. Hearing this, the old man was overjoyed, and handed Shaer over to her. Believing he had met a kind benefactor, the old man turned away to wait. But suddenly the woman bolted several meters away with Shaer in her arms, shouting, "I'm going to strike it rich." Fortunately, the old man reacted in time. He quickly threw a pebble, knocking the woman unconscious. He then leapt forward and caught Shaer just before she hit the ground. As he wondered why the woman had done such a thing, he noticed a wanted poster on a nearby bulletin board. To his shock, the drawings on the poster were of him and Shaer. The text on the poster was even more alarming. Claimed that after the massacre of the Liu family, their patriarch had gone mad. Accused of kidnapping a girl named Shaer, the poster promised a hefty reward for anyone who could rescue her and bring her to the Martial Alliance. To his shock, the poster was signed by none other than the Martial Alliance. This revelation filled the old man with rage. He had valued his reputation above all else his entire life. Yet now he was branded a demon, despised by the world. The old man quickly hid in the shadows, only to overhear news that shocked him even further. It turned out the Liu family wasn't the only one massacred. The neighboring Bai clan had also been wiped out overnight. However, strangely enough, there were no children's bodies found among the dead. Some even claimed to have seen the perpetrators taking the children away. Hearing this, the old man's eyes widened in shock. He realized this wasn't a coincidence. The same group must have been responsible for attacking both families. Eliminate 2 families in a single night. Could it really have been the Martial Alliance? But what reason would they have to do this? Looking down at the babbling Shaer in his arms, the old man suddenly thought of a possibility. Shaer was born with the celestial melody physique. From a young age her talents were extraordinary. News of this once caused a sensation across Shaanxi. This physique was identical to that of the legendary swordsman the Sword Empress. The Martial Alliance had even sent rare medicinal herbs, claiming it was to celebrate such a blessing for the martial world. In truth, the Martial Alliance had their sights on Shaer for a long time. They mercilessly slaughtered his family, and planned to take Shaer back to their stronghold. Realizing this, the old man's eyes burned with fury. These hypocritical beasts! Even if I truly become a mad demon, I will destroy you all. Just then shadows appeared on a nearby rooftop. The leader, a masked man, chuckled and said, "What luck we have tonight. I never expected such an easy chance to rise above the rest." But when he raised his eyes again, he found the street below eerily empty. In the next moment, a sudden and overwhelming killing intent filled the air behind him. He quickly turned around, but saw nothing behind him. Meanwhile, the old man had already used his light-footed technique to escape. Even now his heart was still racing. If he had acted impulsively just now, he might have truly fallen into the Martial Alliance's trap and become a madman. At that moment Shui's soft voice called out from behind him. It seemed as though Shaer was worried about him. The old man gently reassured her in a soft tone. "Don't worry, Shaer, Grandpa won't act like that again. You truly are my little lucky star. Grandpa owes you another rescue." After realizing that he was wanted by the entire martial world, he decided to find a secluded place to live. After more than 2 months of arduous travel, he finally discovered an abandoned house deep in the mountains. Though it seemed to have been vacant for years, the interior was remarkably clean. Inside he found a jade box. Opening it, he discovered several concealed weapons. On the wall hung an ancient zither. It seems this was once the home of a martial arts master, he thought. The old man decided to settle down there. For now, the most important thing was ensuring Shaer grew up healthy. One night, after lulling Shaer to sleep, he ventured alone into the forest to hunt. While using his light-footed technique to explore the forest, the old man overheard a group of people quietly conversing. From their discussion he learned that they were bandits who had taken root in the mountain. Earlier today they had a conflict while extorting a toll from an escort team. Unexpectedly, 2 Taoists from Wudang had come to the team's aid. The bandits lost 2 of their men in the skirmish. However, they managed to kill one of the Taoists. When the small bandit leader heard about it, he flew into a rage. "You fools, if you were going to strike, you should have killed them both. Now Qingfeng's stronghold is doomed. The Wudang sect will surely send reinforcements to wipe us out." Hearing this, the old man frowned. This mountain was now his and Shui's home. Before being dragged into unnecessary trouble, it would be best to distance himself from them. With this thought, the old man stepped out of the forest. "You lot there, aren't you going to greet your new neighbor?" Bandits, realizing someone had been eavesdropping, became enraged. Where did this old geezer come from? Qingfeng's stronghold rules this mountain. If you value your life, get out of here while you still can. The old man responded with a disdainful smile. "A new elder has moved to the foot of this mountain. Don't even think about approaching it, or there will be bloodshed." Instead of backing off at his warning, the bandits drew their long knives and charged at him. "Are you joking with us?" Seeing this, the old man sighed helplessly. It seems that to keep them away, I'll have to show them the difference in strength. He then lightly flicked his forefinger. In an instant the bandit's long knife shattered. In a flash the old man appeared behind the leader, and struck his back with a heavy palm. The leader clutched his chest in shock, realizing he had been toyed with by the old man. But as he drew his blade to attack again, a surge of immense inner energy suddenly struck him head-on. The entire forest erupted with a deafening roar. When the 3 turned around, they saw that the trees behind them had all been felled. "I thought about teaching you a real lesson, but since it's our first meeting, I'll spare your lives. Now get lost." Before the old man finished speaking, a hulking figure emerged from behind him. This man was the deputy leader of Qingfeng's stronghold. Unaware of the situation, he mistook the commotion as a provocation. He angrily scolded his subordinates. "Useless fools, what's the point of arguing with an old man? Just smash his head and be done with it." With that, the burly man swung his axe forcefully. The old man reacted swiftly, dodging and appearing beneath the burly man in an instant. He struck upward with a swift palm to the man's chin. The 500-pound giant was sent flying like a rubber ball. The old man's expression turned cold. "I told you there won't be a second chance. Get out of here, and don't set foot here again." However, before he could finish speaking, a sharp pain suddenly pierced his head. Gritting his teeth, he pulled out the bone-melting powder from his pocket. "I can't collapse here. Shaer is waiting for me at home." With this thought, he swallowed the pill without hesitation. As the old man writhed in pain on the ground, the bandits, unsure of what was happening, realized their chance had come. They swarmed him all at once. Under the rain of punches and kicks, the old man finally lost consciousness. It was unclear how much time had passed. When he was awakened by the sound of shouting and cursing, as he opened his eyes, he saw a red-haired man scolding the bandits from earlier. "You brainless fools, how could you tie him up in a place like this?" Noticing the old man was awake, the red-haired man instead bowed respectfully and said, "I am the leader of Qingfeng's stronghold. My men were rude to you." The old man, afflicted with a terminal illness and only 10 days to live, had lost his entire family overnight. To protect his only surviving granddaughter, he used the 9 deadliest venomous insects to create a life-prolonging potion. Carrying his granddaughter, he traveled tirelessly to evade his pursuers. Eventually they hid in a remote mountain wilderness. He had planned to raise his granddaughter there. During a hunting trip, his illness struck again. After losing consciousness, he was captured by bandits and taken to their stronghold. Now, as the old man woke up, he saw the bandit leader apologizing to him. The old man sneered inwardly. He could easily guess the bandits' schemes, but his only concern now was Shui's safety. He coldly said to the leader, "If you truly feel sorry, then unlock these black iron chains first." Hearing this, the leader quickly ordered his men to fetch the key. However, the moment the chains were unlocked, the old man suddenly sprang into action, sending the leader flying with a single strike. The old man didn't stop there. Though his hands were still bound, he used his inner strength to tear the wooden stake apart. As the old man rushed toward the exit, a burly man swung his battle axe at him. Instead, the old man used the force to break his chains, delivering a powerful punch to the man's chest. The bulky figure was sent flying like a ragdoll. Using the man's body as a springboard, the old man leapt high into the air over the crowd. The bandits quickly drew their bows ready to fire. Knowing it was impossible to dodge the arrows mid-air, the old man prepared to sacrifice an arm to break through. Just as the bandits were about to release their arrows, the leader suddenly shouted, "Stop, let him go." And so, the old man safely escaped the stronghold. The burly man was puzzled by this. "Why did you let that guy go? The recent disappearances of our men in the mountains must have been caused by that old man." "Silence, I'm already cleaning up the mess you fools made. The fate of Qingfeng's stronghold now lies entirely in that old man's hands." The old man rushed back home as fast as he could, but after searching everywhere he couldn't find Cher. Anxiously he shouted her name. At last Cher emerged from the bushes crying. Overjoyed, the old man embraced her tightly. "I'm so sorry, Cher. Grandpa will never leave you again." But Cher, unable to understand his words, looked at him with a puzzled expression. The old man gave a relieved laugh. "So you were out catching frogs, huh? You're such a clever girl. But now hide behind Grandpa for a moment, okay?" As he spoke, his gaze suddenly turned icy cold. He then spoke coldly toward the dark forest. "I've already warned you before. Must we settle this once and for all?" As soon as he finished speaking, the bandits suddenly knelt down and apologized. This scene took the old man by surprise. However, he had no intention of entangling himself further with them. He simply told them not to bother him again. At that moment, the leader stepped out from the shadows. "This spear seems very important to you. We came specifically to return it to you." As he spoke, the leader gritted his teeth. "Since we live on the same mountain, wouldn't it be better to help each other?" The old man with a stern expression took the spear. "Don't think I don't know your little schemes. You've angered the Wudang sect. Now Qingfeng Stronghold's fate is like a candle in the wind, ready to be snuffed out at any moment. You see, my skills are decent. So you're trying to use me against Wudang." Realizing their intentions had been exposed, the leader had nothing more to say. After apologizing again to the old man, he left behind a bundle as compensation, and led his men away from the area. Just as the old man was about to check the contents of the bundle, he saw Cher climbing into the bag. With a doting smile, he pulled the mischievous Cher out, only to see she was holding a venomous snake in her hands. The sight instantly frightened the old man. He quickly struck the venomous snake dead with his palm. "Those brats, even if they meant to gift me a white armored snake to enhance inner energy, they shouldn't have just tossed it into the bag unrestrained." However, the bag also contained raw meat and other food supplies. It seemed the bandits weren't entirely unreasonable people. At night, the old man and Cher enjoyed a rare hearty meal. But the old man knew it wasn't time to let his guard down. He could collapse again and fall into danger at any moment. So whenever he had time, he focused on his cultivation, aiming to transform his body as soon as possible. Only then could he better protect Cher as she grew up. After cultivating for a while, the old man opened his eyes and saw Cher imitating his cultivation moves. What an adorable little girl, always trying to copy her grandpa. But then again, starting inner energy cultivation early is always a good thing. So he decided to guide Cher in cultivating her energy. As the inner energy entered Shui's body, the old man was immediately stunned. Her meridians had no trace of excess impurities at all. This meant her ability to accumulate inner energy was at least 10 times faster than an ordinary person's. Is this the terrifying power of the celestial melody physique? After helping Shu'er complete her cultivation, the old man carried her to the bed. He then stepped outside into the night. The recent days of constant travel had left him utterly exhausted. He glanced at the white-armored snake in the ginseng wine nearby. Quickly he turned his head away. Even if these things can nourish vitality, I won't fall for the tricks of mere bandits. But in the end he couldn't resist the allure. Moments later he lit a fire and roasted the snake to eat. After downing a few bowls of ginseng wine he finally felt satisfied. What a delicacy. It's been so long since I felt this good. As the old man sighed in contentment, he suddenly saw a white light descending from the sky. The light floated slowly into the forest. Perhaps due to the effects of the strong liquor, the old man felt compelled to follow it into the woods. Once inside the forest he discovered the eerie light's source. It was the legendary man-eating beast of over a century, the blue-eyed direwolf. Shocked, the old man quickly hid in the bushes. He knew he had to make a critical decision. He had to either abandon everything and leave with Shu'er, or fight with all his might to eliminate the beast. But little did he know as he hesitated, Direwolf had already sensed his presence. In the next moment the wolf lunged at him with its jaws wide open. The old man made his decision instantly. In a flash he moved beneath the direwolf, and launched a palm strike infused with immense inner energy. Direwolf was sent flying through the air. However, the old man felt a sharp pain in his head. This creature's body is incredibly tough. Fighting it barehanded is nearly impossible. Unfortunately he had left the fire dragon spear back at the house. At that moment the direwolf bared its fangs and charged again. Strangely though, just before reaching the old man, it suddenly leapt and ran wildly toward the forest behind him. The old man's heart sank. The direction it's heading is my home. Could it have caught the scent of Shu'er? Thinking of this, the old man sprang forward and chased after the direwolf. He slid beneath it in one swift move. Just as the wolf was about to reach the house, the old man delivered a powerful kick to its abdomen. The direwolf was sent flying through the air, crashing onto the ground outside the house. Taking advantage of the moment, the old man retrieved his spear from inside. If you dare, come at me again. The direwolf bared its fangs and stared intensely at the old man. It seemed to sense his unwavering determination to protect his granddaughter. After letting out a low growl, the direwolf turned and retreated into the forest. The old man knew that once a spiritual beast locked onto its prey, it would never give up easily. It would likely wait nearby for the right opportunity. By early the next morning, the old man had decided to leave with Shu'er. If he were alone, he wouldn't hesitate to face the direwolf in battle. But if he left Shu'er alone at home, as he had done yesterday to fight the wolf, it would be far too dangerous. However, even if they left this place, where could they go? Thinking further, he realized that the Qingfeng stronghold bandits might also be in danger. Since that's the case, before leaving I should at least warn them. However, when the old man arrived at Qingfeng stronghold, he found the place in utter chaos. Not only were there large gaps in the fences, but the bandits were also busy burying their fallen comrades. It was clear that the beast had already rampaged through the area. It seems there's no need for me to warn them now. The old man turned to leave, but the leader of Qingfeng's stronghold stopped him. Mr. Lu Zhenshin, please save us. Hearing these words, the old man's expression darkened. You've already seen the bounty notice. Why not turn me in and claim the reward? That might even resolve Wu Dang's enmity toward you. Because you don't look like a crazed demon to me. And the child they accuse you of kidnapping, isn't she your beloved granddaughter? These words changed the old man's perception of them. If that's the case, teaming up with them would greatly improve the chances of defeating the direwolf. I wouldn't have to leave the home I've finally found either. That thought, the old man decided to join forces with them for now. He instructed the bandits to stop repairing the gaps. Instead he had everyone gather hay and water. Finally he needed someone to serve as bait, preferably someone who looked plump and enticing. As soon as he said this, everyone's eyes turned toward the burly man. I'm too skinny for this, right? But under the leader's pressure, the burly man reluctantly set out to prepare. Under the old man's plan everything proceeded smoothly. Nightfall soon came quietly. The burly man stood by the gap as instructed by the old man. Not long after, two eerie lights suddenly appeared in the dark forest. It's here that beast has come.